A Deep Ellum man says everything he and his daughter owned was thrown in a dumpster after the management of his apartment building accidentally ordered maintenance to clean out his rental.
Yeah, it turns out apartment management had the wrong unit number, and now that man says that he is out tens of thousands of dollars.
Building management argues he never should have been living there to begin with. Consumer reporter Steve Noviello is on your side tonight.
Used to have a couch here, a TV stand with the TV.
After Johnny Abney spent years building a life.
This was my daughter's snack drawer.
For himself and his 9-year-old daughter.
It was a closet full of clothes.
This is all that's left of their stuff.
Everything gone.
Everything they own.
Clothing items, all my groceries. They cleared out my whole refrigerator full of groceries.
Is gone.
Well, we had a shower curtain here.
Not stolen, thrown in the dumpster by order of the management at the Hamilton, the high-end mid-rise apartment building where Johnny and his daughter lived in the Deep Ellum neighborhood of Dallas.
They came to my door and cleaned everything out, from my daughter's clothes to my clothes to everything, from a toothbrush, bathing items. Like, they pretty much left me with nothing.
It's all in this police report Johnny filed when he returned home from work in late July to find his apartment door unlocked and the contents cleared out. According to the report's narrative, a leasing agent on site said there was a misunderstanding and maintenance accidentally cleared out Abney's unit instead of the unit next door where a tenant was being evicted.
This your stuff?
All of Johnny's belongings had been thrown in the dumpster hours earlier and had been picked over by the other residents. This is video Johnny took of his discarded stuff. He says his mattress had been urinated on.
Not only did they put my stuff out, they watched people take all my property all day.
Property management offered to get what they could from the trash and return it to Johnny's unit. Johnny said they even had that stained mattress professionally cleaned, but most of his and his daughter's stuff was gone for good.
This door is completely gone, and this one, they just completely broke it.
Much of what did make it back from the dumpster, he showed us, was damaged.
They told me that it was a mistake. They apologized the first night. They were overly apologetic, like, let us know anything missing.
But that quickly took a turn.
Even though it was your stuff, it's her apartment. It's under her name. The contract is in her name and her name solely.
This is video Johnny recorded of a conversation he had with one of the leasing agents who was quick to point out the apartment in which he and his daughter lived was leased by his ex-girlfriend who had since moved out of state. Johnny was subletting without permission, and even though these receipts provided to us by an attorney for the Hamilton show that Johnny paid the near $3,000 in rent each month, any direct discussion about making him whole was off the table.
We are binded, like, by law. We cannot discuss anything with anybody that is not her.
According to this lawsuit Johnny has now filed against the property management company, they gave him 24 hours to fill out his own rental application or face eviction.
I've already lost property. Now you're trying to kick me off the property at short notice with no resolve.
Here's the eviction notice. It was posted on his door the next day.
Rent was paid in full. There was no reason to go into his apartment. There was no reason to throw anything away.
Jason Friedman is Johnny's attorney. He says the issue of who was on the lease is irrelevant.
The apartment building, they didn't know when they threw all that stuff away whose stuff it was, whether it was the person on the lease or his.
And adds Johnny chose not to fill out the application or pay the fee required for one very simple reason.
He chose not to because he said, I want to resolve the situation with my property that you threw away before I decide if I'm going to stay in this building.
An attorney for the Hamilton, who would not speak to us on camera but did communicate by phone and email, said on behalf of the building, even if Johnny did fill out the rental application, he would have been denied because he already violated the lease terms as an unauthorized occupant.
With me losing all my property, like, that's the last thing on my mind.
According to the lawsuit, the Hamilton also alleged there was counterfeit money pulled from Johnny's things. Another reason they say he would not be welcome to stay. We asked them to provide a police report, photos, or video, any evidence at all. They provided none.
They left me without underwear, toothpaste, everything.
Back at Johnny's, among the discarded pile of trashed school supplies with which his daughter was supposed to start the 5th grade, we found our own. This play money, clearly marked as copy, right next to what's left of his daughter's bed. We sent a list of questions to the Hamilton via their attorney. They all went unanswered. They would not sit down with us for an on-camera interview. They did say that they asked Johnny for a list of what was missing from his refrigerator so that they could establish a value for reimbursement. Johnny says that actually never happened. He and his daughter moved out just a few days after we met him. They are now staying with family temporarily.
A burglary attempt at a Dallas apartment ended with a violent shootout. Before the gunfire, doorbell cameras captured one of the gunmen pretending to be a maintenance worker. When he thought no one was home, he and an accomplice tried to kick in the door. Then they found out quickly someone was inside with a gun ready to fight back. Fox 4's Amelia Jones is at Dallas Police Headquarters tonight with the latest on this shootout investigation. Amelia.
Steve, that man who fought back, his name is Ethan Rodriguez, and he told me today that in that moment he feared for his life. He told us that he has no connection to the man who posed as that maintenance worker, and he believes that this was a crime of opportunity. Saturday, August 19th, around 6 p.m. A man who claims to be a maintenance worker shows up outside an apartment door at a complex off of Gannon Lane in Oak Cliff.
Oh, yes, they came to check your air filters.
Ethan Rodriguez talks to the man through his doorbell camera.
No one came to check the air apartment. No, yeah, we're checking the air filters.
Rodriguez tells him no one is home and to come back another day.
Oh, much appreciated.
A few minutes later, the man comes back, this time with a friend, and they're armed. Little did they know, Rodriguez is home and had been on his phone talking to them through his doorbell camera.
So I hurried up and checked the camera to see who was all at the door, and I saw him kicking the door with a firearm, and fearing for mine and my brother's life, I just let the gun go. I didn't know what to do.
Dallas police say Rodriguez fired 13 rounds, and the suspects fired back twice. No one was injured. According to the arrest affidavit, the video posted and circulated on social media led to Crime Stoppers tips that identified the suspect posing as the maintenance worker as 30-year-old Aaron Contreras.
And this was basically just a random attack. We couldn't have expected any of this. No, he's not linked to anybody in my family or anybody that we know.
2 days later, on Monday, police arrested Contreras and charged him with aggravated assault, deadly conduct, and attempted burglary. Dallas County Sheriff's Office records show Contreras' criminal history dates back to 2013. The records show he's been arrested and charged with robbery and burglary several times before.
I'm guessing he just thought this was just going to be a lucky payday. No one's home, and this is just free stuff to steal here. No, he thought wrong.
Dallas police couldn't share any information about the man in the ski mask shown in the video. They told Fox 4 today that his identity is part of the ongoing investigation. Rodriguez told us that he has not received any messages about who that man could be either. Steve, back to you.
Amelia, crazy video, crazy doorbell video. Thank you. Now to that breaking news, the search for the body of a missing Everman boy focused tonight on the property where he was living. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Crews were at the shed where Noel Rodriguez Alvarez lived with his mother, stepfather, and siblings. Police worked to take apart a concrete patio that police say was recently poured in just the past few weeks, right before the boy's family left the country. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager is in Everman tonight with the latest. Peyton.
Stephen, we still have Everman police here on scene, as well as Texas Rangers here on scene, a very active scene. Around 3 p.m. this afternoon, Everman police say the investigation shifted to removing this concrete back patio. The chief told us that it would take several hours, and then around 7 p.m. the machinery stopped and the medical examiner arrived, as well as cadaver dogs and crime scene investigators. But just within the last 30 minutes, we can hear the machinery, it started up again. Now, Monday afternoon, all resources in the search for 6-year-old Noel Rodriguez Alvarez shifted to a newly poured concrete slab on the Everman property where the child lived. Everman police say investigators are working to remove the entire patio and to excavate the backyard. Everman Police Chief Craig Spencer says no new physical evidence has come forward, but the back porch is the focus at this moment. The department previously announced Noel's mother, Cindy Rodriguez Singh, paid for the concrete porch to be put in within the last month before she, her husband, and their 6 children fled to India. Noel's family left the country without him shortly after investigators began questioning Noel's disappearance. Police say 6-year-old Noel is presumed dead based on his last known sighting in November. Fox 4 learned Monday Noel's mother hired a contractor to come in and install the patio in early March. The family lived in a shed in the backyard. Last week, police dug up only a small section of the concrete slab, but found no remains. Today, an excavator was brought in along with heavy machinery to cut through the concrete.
She doesn't own the home. We find that very odd that she would spend her funds on somebody else's home to put in a concrete patio, especially one as large and elaborate as this. When we came out the first time, we did do a complete search of the whole patio with a ground penetrating radar, and it did not reveal anything new. However, we also know that ground penetrating radar isn't always 100%. So again, we're just being as thorough as we possibly can, making sure that we're not missing anything here.
Now, earlier today, Texas Search and Rescue assisted Everman police in searching the wooded areas to the east and the north of the property here. Crews used search dogs and rode on horseback to comb through the woods. And then around 3 p.m., Everman police say they had the resources and wanted to again dig up the entire concrete back porch. Now, Everman police chief, he tells us they are still working with federal investigators to contact Noel's mother and his stepfather over in India. They do have criminal warrants out for their arrests. Steve.
All right, Peyton, so the boy's mother was and stepfather were renting that property. Has the owner been contacted? Is he out there? Has he been there when the search is going on?
Right. Police tell us that Noel, his siblings, his mother, and his stepfather, they all were renting a shed that is in the backyard. Now, the property owner is in this front house behind me. He was on scene today. He has been cooperating with investigators, but that concrete slab that investigators are focusing on, it's attached to the main house where the property owner was here.
Okay.
Steve, back to you.
All right. Peyton Yeager in Everman tonight. Peyton, thank you. Tonight, outside the Everman Civic Center, hundreds of people gathered for a candlelight vigil in honor of Noel Rodriguez Alvarez. This was announced by the Everman Police Department ahead of today's increased search at the boy's home. Everman Police Department's chaplain led the crowd in prayer, and first responders from cities across North Texas provided support. The police chief was there as well, also addressed the crowd this evening, but did not provide an update on the investigation on the scene at that home this evening.
Police released some revealing evidence video from a deadly DWI crash in Lake Worth now that the driver has been convicted. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. The video shows the drunk driver moments after he ran a red light at an intersection, causing the crash back in November of 2021 and then trying to run away. But an angry Good Samaritan did not let him leave.
Police also released video from an ongoing investigation into the bartender they say overserved then 26-year-old Dylan Molina, who looks like he's stumbling drunk right before this crash. Molina ended up killing off-duty Euless police officer Alex Cervantes. Fox 4's David Santendry is in Lake Worth tonight with a really compelling message from the police chief. David.
Yeah, Heather and Steve, the chief of police says Dylan Molina was served more alcohol than anyone should drink. After that, he was involved in a minor crash in a parking lot, and from there he fled the scene, ran a red light, and got involved in another crash, one in which he killed Detective Alex Cervantes, also injuring his family. What happened next is caught on newly released video. Dylan Molina, wearing a black University of Oregon hoodie, drunkenly crashed his rental Jeep into a sedan while driving at a high rate of speed through a Lake Worth intersection. Moments after the crash, Molina, 26 years old at the time, runs away from the scene. He does not make it far. Molina face plants, and while some neighbors desperately try to save the family inside the sedan, another neighbor holds Molina down and cusses him out.
Stay right there, mother. You see what you did?
The driver of the sedan was off-duty Euless Police Detective Alex Cervantes. He died at the scene. His wife and 2 boys were injured but survived. In January, Molina took a plea deal and pleaded guilty to intoxication manslaughter. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Now, bartender Kayla Richardson is facing a misdemeanor charge for allegedly over-serving Molina before the crash.
It is the same approach that we apply to all DWI investigations, all fatality crashes that involve alcohol.
Lake Worth Police Chief J.T. Monishaken is showing Fox 4 surveillance footage of Molina and Richardson at a Fuzzy's taco shop.
And there you see Dylan Molina walking from behind the bar area from the inside out to the outer bar area. And you see the bartender waving him around, telling him, you know, you can't be back there, you need to move. At this point, he stumbles backwards, grabs the bar to try to maintain his balance.
Richardson served Molina 8 double vodka Red Bull cocktails that Saturday morning, according to an arrest affidavit.
8 doubles, 16 single shots is more than anybody should have in a 3-hour period, maybe even at all. Clearly intoxicated. He's holding another one of those double vodka and Red Bull drinks there, and then he simply walks away.
But as Molina begins to leave the parking lot,
is involved in a minor crash, flees from the scene of that minor crash.
Minutes later, he kills Detective Cervantes. Earlier this month, Fox 4 sat down with Cervantes' widow, Priscilla, as she spoke about raising a family without her husband and Molina's 15-year sentence.
It's not going to bring Alex back, but at least he's locked behind bars and he's not able to hurt another family like he did ours.
Lake Worth police showed Priscilla the video of Molina running away. Now the department wants everyone to see it because they say it highlights a heartbreaking story, which hopefully someone can learn from.
The offense of driving while intoxicated is something that we're not going to tolerate.
Dylan Molina had a previous DWI arrest in Sansom Park, not too far from here, months before the deadly DWI crash. But for some reason over in Sansom Park, he was let go and he was not charged with that crime until after he caused this crash that killed Detective Cervantes. So Sansom Park came out with that information after this case here in Lake Worth. They said they were launching an internal investigation, hiring an outside consultant, but that information, as far as what happened, has never been made public. But that charge was grouped in with this charge, which led to a 15-year prison sentence.
Good Samaritan, who kept a drunken driver from leaving the scene of a fatal accident, says he feels nothing but sympathy for the crash victims. Good evening, I'm Clarice Tinsley. First at 5:30. A Euless police detective was killed in that crash. His wife and children were badly injured. The man who caused it tried to run, but a witness chased after him and kept him from getting away. Fox 4's Deion England talked to that witness today. Deion.
Hi there, Clarice. Well, the Good Samaritan, Justin Gonzalez, says it was instinct and adrenaline that caused him to swing into action that day, and he says it's something he is still affected by. He's the Good Samaritan who pinned down a drunken driver trying to run from the scene of the fatal crash he caused.
I wanted him down. I wanted him done with. I wanted the cops to be there and get him.
Justin Gonzalez recalls that unfortunate day in 2021.
Stay right there!
With a bystander recording, Gonzalez is seen tackling the now convicted felon Dylan Molina and frustratingly cussing him out in the process.
So I like to apologize for my language that I was using at that time. I just blacked out, and I had the father instinct and the dad instinct, because 2 seconds later, it would have been my car.
The recording continues. It shows the crashed rental Jeep Molina was driving and people trying to break the windows of the sedan he crashed into head on. The impact killed the driver, off-duty Euless police detective Alex Cervantes. His wife and 2 young sons who survived were pinned inside. Gonzalez was traveling right behind Cervantes. He watched the crash in horror, then jumped out and approached Molina, who he says was clearly drunk.
And something in me was just telling me like he's gonna run, something's not right in the situation. I could feel something wasn't right in the situation. I figured he was still walking behind me, but at that point when he turned around, he started running. At that point when he started running, something clicked again, and I was like, man, what is this man doing? And I just turned around and just started going after him.
Molina, we later learned, had consumed nearly 8 double vodka cocktails before the crash, according to police records. He eventually took a plea deal for intoxication manslaughter and is serving a 15-year sentence.
She likes to keep everybody awake during the night.
Now, more than a year after the crash, Gonzalez, a father of 4, including baby Ariana, born just 4 days ago, routinely thinks about and prays for the Cervantes family. Moraima Gonzalez is proud of what her husband did.
For him to go out after someone, you don't know if he had a knife or a gun or something, like something could have happened to him. So to me, he's a hero.
Now that I talk about it, I've talked to a lot of people, they're like, were you not scared that he had a weapon? Were you not scared that something could have happened? There was nothing going to stop me. I had a weapon, anything was nothing going to stop me. I was putting him down. He wasn't getting nowhere.
Now, Gonzalez says he had not seen that cell phone video before it was broadcast yesterday for the first time. He says he didn't really recall using a foul language like you see in the video or hear in the video, but he says, again, it was the adrenaline that took over.
Fox 4 News is getting results. We first reported on Crime Stoppers' refusal to issue a reward to a couple who was key to Dallas police arresting a most wanted fugitive. Today, a Fox 4 viewer stepped up to do what he says Crime Stoppers failed to do. Fox 4's Lori Brown is live. Lori.
Clarissa, Fox 4 viewer told us that he knew he needed to do the right thing for a family that did not hesitate when face to face with a top 10 most wanted fugitive.
We've been hearing a lot of thank yous and that we are heroes.
We were there as Fox 4 viewer Cliff Freeman hand-delivered a check to Kenyatta and Brianna Jordan.
I know you guys have been through a lot, and I just want to tell you, I saw your story that Lori did on Channel 4, and it just touched my heart.
Freeman is a Dallas native and business owner.
What you guys did was put yourselves at risk, and you took a bad guy off the street. And you're my heroes for that. You're welcome. You sure can.
Then Brianna Jordan saw the amount.
For $5,000. Thank you so much.
I'm trying not to tear up out here. Yeah, I know everybody gonna see this.
When I saw the story, I teared up, so it's okay. It's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Tears of joy.
The Jordans are parents of 6 young children.
7, 6, 4, 3, 1, and 6 months.
So when they saw reports that Leonard Neal was wanted for abducting a 9-year-old boy and 7-year-old girl and sexually assaulting the girl, they looked at his photo carefully. When they thought they saw him at a bus stop, they called 911. As Neal got on the bus, they followed it while talking to police. Before police arrested Neal, he cut his throat with a box cutter. The chair who oversees North Texas Crime Stoppers told us that the Jordans could not receive the reward because their tip went through 911 instead of their tip line. Freeman told us he believed the Jordans' actions were deserving of the reward anyway, which is why he provided the amount in full.
I don't have Crime Stoppers number programmed into my phone, but I do have 911, and I guarantee you 911 is the first number that I'm going to call.
Freeman said he wants to show the community that Crime Stoppers or not, when you do the right thing, the community will have your back.
On top of that, we were able to contact Six Flags.
Six Flags is providing the Jordan family with tickets to attend the park.
We want to help celebrate this with you, this great thing that you guys have done, and Six Flags has also wanted to participate in that as well. We just need more heroes like you guys.
It's a blessing.
Thank you so much. Hey, I want to hug from this number 4 here. That's all right. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
After we brought this issue to his attention, Dallas Mayor Pro Tem Tanel Atkins began working to address the root of the problem so it doesn't happen again. He says he will have an announcement about a solution Tuesday.